The Knicks played their third preseason contest on Tuesday night, but they fell in Boston to the Celtics 123-110. Half of the Knicks' regular rotation, they didn't make the trip to Beantown for the game, but New York Post Knicks beat reporter Stefan Bondy did, and he joins me now. Steph, how are you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm great. One more preseason game left.
One more to go. Preseason is almost over, so let's get right into it. Now, Tom Thibodeau, he rested most of his regulars on the first night of a back-to-back, but Quentin Grimes, he had a strong game with 22 points in 26 minutes. Do you think the third-year shooting guard will be a bigger part of the offense this season?
I think a little bit. Now, listen, the reason why he had the ball so much yesterday and was able to make a lot of plays is because the other guys weren't there. Because when R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Jalen Brunson are in the game, they're going to be having the ball. So, yeah, he had the opportunity last night. He took full advantage of it. He did well. He's been telling us all along that, you know, he's a playmaker. He was a point guard in high school. He can do these kind of things. We saw it in Summer League a few years ago. So I think he's very capable. But I think when the guys come back, Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle in particular, that he won't have as many opportunities. But it's good to see that when he does have the chance, he's going to take advantage, as he did last night.
Yeah, he definitely did last night. Shot the ball well from downtown as well. Wanted to talk to you about Mitchell Robinson because his free throw struggles, they've continued this preseason. It's 2 of 7 from the line in the preseason. We saw the Heat deploy a hack-a-Mitch strategy in the playoffs last year. So how important is it that Robinson improves from the charity stripe this year?
I think it is important, and I actually talked to him about this yesterday. He claims that it's really an issue of just getting more arch on his shot, that it's straight, it's going towards the basket, it doesn't have enough loft in it. He's been practicing a lot on that, and that's really his goal. He's been talking about how he wants to raise his free throw percentage. Tom Thibodeau said, hey, the first goal you have to do is get to the league average for centers. Look at that number and try to reach that first and then go from there. You know, I think it's always important for, certainly when you get into playoff time, that you're able to rely on your guys that are on the court because they're going to get fouled. And you want guys that are going to nail it down. And we've seen, you know, throughout different seasons, Mitchell be taken out in the fourth quarter simply because he can't hit the free throws. So I think it's a very important aspect of his game. I think it's more important than what he's been, you know, griping about on and off for the last few years, which is, you know, I need more opportunities to shoot three-pointers, or I need more opportunities to dribble the ball and make plays for my teammates. I think he should first work on his free throws because it's an important facet of his game, and certainly for a center that's under the basket and getting fouled a lot.
Yeah, definitely. If he can hit those free throws, he can stay on the court in the fourth quarter. That could be important for the Knicks this season. Now, you wrote a column earlier this week stating that Coach Tibbs should get a contract extension right now. The Knicks, they've talked a lot about continuity this preseason. You and I have talked about that. Do you think the Knicks will reward Tibbs with an extension sooner rather than later?
I don't know if they will. I think he wants an extension. I think that, as I wrote in the column, he deserves an extension. And I think it's important for not just continuity, but when you're a coach, like the one thing you don't want is to constantly look over your shoulder. As I wrote in the column, this was a guy who was coming off Coach of the Year award the following season, and it didn't take long. Yeah, they disappointed. They weren't as good as everybody expected, but he was already on the hot seat. It only took a few months. And then the following last season, it felt like, and you know, I'm not making this up out of thin air. This is what the rumblings were. He was like one poor road trip away from getting fired when they went out and they actually won in Utah and Denver. Those were important victories just for his job security. And then we know what happened after that. You know, they finished 5th in the East and they won their first playoff series in a decade. So, you know, I think it's important for a coach to have that security. I think it's important when you try to get respect from your players, that your players know, hey, this is a guy that's going to be here. He has the support of the organization. And, you know, when the coach is constantly on and off the hot seat, that doesn't compel respect. That doesn't compel continuity, as we've been talking about. So I think it is important. I don't know where the organization stands on it, however.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Knicks are able to come to a contract extension agreement with Coach Thibodeau this season sometime, maybe before the season. We will see. Last thing for me, Steph, Knicks play their final preseason game on Wednesday night. They host the Wizards. What are you going to be keeping your eye on in preseason game number 4?
Well, I'll be keeping an eye on this one more so than the previous 3, just because I think we're going to see more of the regular rotation and regular minutes, more so than the previous 3 games. Because last night was, it's fun to see guys that you won't be able to see, like Ryan Arcidiacono and Isaiah Roby and those guys, but they're not going to really play in the regular season. Tomorrow, I think we're going to get some big minutes from guys like Jalen Brunson, like Julius Randle, like Emmanuel Quickley, and even Josh Hart, who has barely played in this preseason. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this final preseason game because I think it's going to give us the best sense of what we're going to be seeing in the regular season.
All right, this final preseason game will be like the dress rehearsal for the regular season, which starts a week from today as the Knicks open up their season against the Celtics. That is Stefan Bondy, New York Post Knicks beat reporter. Steph, as always, thank you for the time, man.
All right, thank you.